Around 1 million of us in the UK grow up without any contact with our fathers. 75-year-old Bill has never met his dad. Bill and his partner Julie are wondering if we can find any information about his dad by analysing Bill's DNA.
Hello! How are you? I'm not allowed to. I know, it's so bizarre. Hello, can I just have a soda water, please?
Yeah. I'll get this.
No,
I can't do that. Not done. I won't have it. Stay, so I don't care.
How are you, Julie?
Thank you.
So how long have you been together?
35 years.
25 years.
35.
Yeah.
And we're getting married next year. So,
Are you?
yeah.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's about time.
It is about time,
Yeah. So you've been together 35 years, you've got this amazing family unit.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, why now? Why have you started thinking, actually, I'd quite like to know a bit more about who my father was?
I wouldn't do it while my mum was alive, you know, because my mum believed that my dad died and obviously would have come back for her. And I would like to dispel that.
So what do we know about your father?
What do we know? Very little, really. He was an African American GI, and he came over during the war, and he was based in Leicestershire, and my mum used to go there with her sister, so that's where they met, and that's where I was...
Conceived?
Thought, yeah, conceived.
During World War II, 240,000 African American GIs were stationed in the UK. Many had relationships with local women, which resulted in the birth of 2,000 mixed-race babies. Bill is one of them.
My mum was a fun-loving girl.
Mr. What you callin', what you doing tonight? Hope you're in the mood because I'm feeling just right.
She used to go to dances at the American air bases.
Mellow with some gay rendezvous.
And from what I gather, that's where she met my dad.
Mr. What you callin', that's the timely idea.
He was a corporal in the US Army, drafted over here. He was a truck driver. He went back to America after the war and never came back.
The only information Bill has ever had about his father is what's on his birth certificate. His name, Wilbert Wiley.
Did you ever ask your mum about your father?
No.
Never?
Well, because she married, and so I had a stepfather.
Right.
And it wasn't worth asking. I do wonder sometimes, you know, why didn't you come back to my mum? Because my mum was really, I don't know, she thought he would come back, to be honest.
That's heartbreaking.
I don't think she was ever the same person, you know, and I just know that she really cared about him and really loved him. So I just take comfort from that fact that my mum loved my dad, and I'm the result.
I guess the next few months may throw up a fresh batch of questions for you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. And I've got a feeling that somewhere along the line there's somebody at the other side of the pond who don't know anything about me, and maybe they might be pleased to find out about me because they love Brits, don't they? The Yanks. You know what I mean?
You might have siblings over there, Bill.
I just think in my mind, I can't be the only one. I can't. There's got to be somewhere, somebody.
To discover if he might have any family in America, Bill will have his DNA tested so we can start piecing together his family tree. Turi King is one of the UK's top geneticists. A professor at the University of Leicester, she first made headlines when she helped crack one of the biggest forensic DNA cases in history.
Bones found under a council car park in Leicester are those of King Richard III.
I want to find out how Turi and her team can use DNA to help people unravel their family secrets.
I think I understand the basics, but are you happy to tell us sort of in layman's terms what's involved when you're trying to figure out where someone's from?
So I suppose the first thing to say is that we humans, we are 99.9% the same as one another, no matter where you are from in the world. But what our team is able to do is we look at lots of little tiny genetic differences that we have between us. The other thing about this is that actually there are now so many people on these days. I mean, there's over 25 million people worldwide who have taken these DNA tests. And so the chances are actually pretty high that one of your relatives could be on one of these databases.
In terms of the people that have come to us and they're interested in finding out a bit more about their family, their relatives, how do you go about that?
Well, what we're doing is we're looking for people who share a high number of centimorgans with the person who's come to us. Now, centimorgans is basically just a fancy term for a unit of genetic measurement. It's a way that we geneticists look for people who share sections of their DNA. So such that they might be like a first cousin, a second cousin, a third cousin. And once we've found one of these people, that's where the detective work actually starts. Because we can talk to them and we can go, right, what do you know about your family tree? And we can also go through records, so we can go through like birth certificates, death registers, marriage registers. And then, as I say, it starts to allow you to kind of hone in on who your mystery person is, which hopefully will give people who come to us their answers that they're wanting.
Yeah.
Today, Bill's meeting Turi. He's hoping that her experience studying DNA may help him find his family in America.
Hello.
Hello. So tell me, what do you know about your dad?
Very little, really.
Okay.
I never knew him. My mum, she never spoke about him at all.
So let's see how DNA can help you with this. So I'm going to draw you a quick family tree. This is Dad, Mum. If your dad went back to the US and had other children,
Yep.
the family tree will look like this. So what we're going to be doing is looking for matches with people who share your DNA. And then it's a case of contacting them.
Yeah.
And hopefully by finding them, they can tell you something about your father. It's amazing though, because this could open up a whole new chapter of your
Well, it could, yeah.
life.
I hope it does happen, really, because I'm running out of time, aren't I?
So obviously to do this work, we need to get a DNA sample from you. And
Yep.
the way that we do that is that we get a saliva sample.
Turi will now start comparing Bill's genes against the 25 million people already on the network of DNA databases.
That's a little bit of me.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe, I've got literally thousands of these things.
She'll be working with a team of genealogists, social workers, and counsellors to research Bill's family and support him throughout the process. But finding a living relative will all depend on if any of Bill's relations have previously taken a DNA test.
I do remember that my mum had a photo of my dad. So when I had this photo, I used to carry it around with me all the time. Even when I was little, I had it and I lost it. That's all I had of him. And I keep having these flashes like that, yeah, that's what he looked like. But I can't remember him in the flesh, I can't. I sometimes wish that I'd have started earlier to find out things when I was a bit more healthier. Hi, Stacey.
Since they last met, Turi and our team have been analysing Bill's genetic code, trying to track down any DNA matches and find his family in America.
I'm really looking forward to see what Turi can tell me.
Yeah, we'll stay here.
Yeah.
And are you happy to go through and...
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
As a geneticist, I can actually tell you it was a joy looking at the DNA that must come from your father's side. And that's because it actually gave really quite clear and detailed information. Now, because it was from your father's side, I thought, well, I'll have a look at his Y chromosome type. So the Y chromosome, putting it really simply, it has on it the gene for maleness. So the Y chromosome that you get is from your father, which came from his father, which came from his father, so on back through time. So the largest number of people who are carrying this type of Y chromosome in Africa are coming from sort of Congo, Cameroon, so West Bantu speaking individuals. And for me, that's quite interesting because we know that actually that's where the slave trade really started, was in this area. So you are actually getting matches with people who arrived in the US in the early 1700s in North Carolina and Virginia. But it's likely what was happening was they were working on the tobacco and the cotton farms,
plants, yeah.
probably until slavery was abolished in 1865. You're then getting matches with people who we know moved into Texas in the middle of the 19th century. So finding those matches actually helped us to find even more information about your father and his family. So we know that your father was actually with somebody before he met your mum. And they had a child.
Oh.
This would be your half-brother.
Oh, well,
His name
that
is Don.
Well, that's, I'm just, that's news to me,
Yeah.
real news. Like, I thought there might be somebody when he went back. Yeah, it's quite a revelation, that, really.
So Don's born in 1933, and really sadly, he passed away about 11 years ago at the age of 76. I know your big question about your father was why didn't he come back for your mum and for you? Now, even if he had wanted to come back and marry your mum and bring you over to the US with him, it would have been impossible for him to do that. Back in the 1940s in Texas, it was actually illegal. Interracial marriage was a crime in Texas in the 1940s. People went to jail. I suppose the other thing to remember is that even if your dad wanted to marry your mum in this country, he would have not have been allowed to get married. His commanding officer would have refused it.
Oh, right. So it wasn't really a choice that he could make. Turi, I really do appreciate what you've done.
Take care.
Bye.
Be kind.
Surprise, surprise. It's about something that happened before my dad came here. Yeah. He did have a relationship with someone else, and he had a child.
Right.
Right?
Don,
Don, yeah.
am I right to show you a couple of photos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bill. Bill, this is a photo of your half-brother. This is Don. It's your dad's first boy.
Pictures are like, they tell 1,000 words, really. It's just,
This photo here, this lad here, this is your uncle.
oh God.
So his nickname, wait for this, was Fireball Wiley.
Oh, yes! Man, I mean, I can't think of a better name.
And really, it sounds like he was a bit of a pioneer. He was so good, right? There was another baseball team full of white guys, and he was the first African American to be asked to go and play with them.
Really?
Yeah. Fireball Wiley, because he was so brilliant.
I'm just amazed that Fireball, man. That is really on.
There's one more photo I want to show you, Bill. This is a photo of your dad.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's real.
So we have found some living relatives in America.
You have?
Yeah.
And we've been in contact with them. And they'd love to meet you over Zoom.
Really?
Really, cousins. Do you fancy speaking to them now?
Now?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, Fireball's daughters, so Phyllis and Regina.
It's just unbelievable, it really is. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I don't know, kind of sad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these years, by himself and
wondering, yeah. I can't wait to see him. And he's 70-something years old all this time. Wow. I can't even imagine what to say.
Oh, gee. Oh, that's unexpected.
Come in. Come closer. Hello. Hi, girls.
Hi there.
This is Bill.
Hello, ladies.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
This is really like something out of Fantasyland. I don't know, it's like magic. It's.
I'm Regina. This is Phyllis.
How are you feeling, girls? Were you surprised? Were you expecting a call like this?
I really wasn't. I just didn't know what to expect.
I'm just still shocked, and I just see the resemblance in Bill from my dad. He looks a lot like our dad.
Really? Fireball Wiley.
Yes.
Your dad, I am so proud of. If I was you, I'd be so proud of him,
Yeah, we
Very
are.
proud.
We are. We really are.
I have dreamed about them. I had relatives, but I wished I had relatives, but I never.
You have us.
I want to climb through the screen now and sit down there and talk to you. It's that's how I feel.
I want to give you a hug. I do.
Me too.
And
I don't know. There's such a lot of life that's gone by, and I'd love to keep in touch with you. And
Yes.
Oh, yes.
if we could do that, I'd like to.
Hopefully one day we'll be able to come to London.
Yes.
You girls, we will be in touch. I promise.
Right. It's a great feeling, Bill. It really is. You take care, Bill, and we love you.
Love you too. Love you too, honest. I never expected it to get to this stage. I've got to say, Stacey, after all these years when they didn't exist to me, nobody exists in America to me. And now They do.